Greetings, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary, aka Kwasapeacefull eating. And I just wanted to tune in this morning before I go out into the garden. And I have classes lined up all throughout the day. And time is moving faster than ever in terms of being preoccupied with so many different things to do. You know, someone just came to visit and it feels like they were just here a couple of months ago, and they said it's been a year since I last visited. And I'm like, that's impossible. It almost feels like weeks. So I was considering something which I think about often, but it seems more pressing. Not from a space of anxiety, that's not the intention, though from a space of urgency. I do like to move with a sense. I strive to move with a sense of urgency. Why? Because time, we can say a lot of things. I would say the majority, 95%, I think, of the things we say, there's a huge disconnect. There's a lack of urgency with all the sayings and the catchphrases, and it can be peeped, it can be observed in our actions every day, right? If we're not getting into action around the things that we really say is important. And I've noticed a pattern. I've been humbled. I'm continually humbled by the fact that as humans, we follow. We follow and we mimic. And I'm also humbled by how deeply conditioned we are, how easy it is for us to be passively conditioned to a lot of autopilot behavior. We can be observed a lot of our autopilot behaviors, not only autopilot behaviors, yet behaviors that are self sabotaging. It's easy to go through a portion of our lives, like watching TV or just very passively. So, my question today, or contemplation today, hopefully you take time to contemplate, a little bit different than um, meditate, though I invite you to consider, as it was shared with me many years ago, contemplation is akin to asking a question, right, of your own divine onboard intelligence. Perhaps there's something that you're working on or something you're endeavoring to work on, whether that's a project, school, or something, or something that you're working through, a blockage or something that's very, very difficult. And, we may see juicing, fasting, studying, whatever the modality is. Yet energetically, I invite you to consider there's a blockage, and that blockage shows up as procrastination, self sabotage, finding distractions. And I invite you to consider this without making yourself bad or wrong. I don't know that that I find that that's effective. Perhaps from a space of a healthy curiosity about, wow, why do we self sabotage? Why do we place ourselves as humans? What is this propensity to put ourselves, our reproductive organs, our finances, the non renewable resource of our time in harm's way? It's something that humans do. I would say the gross majority of humans. So it's something I was contemplating. And when you have paradigm shifts, you can try to force it, but I don't think it's something that can be forced. When your awareness is heightened, that's when I usually find there's a click, right? There's a click when you get it. For example, most of us know to eat healthy, most of us know to exercise, yet it is not the majority of humans that consistently get into action. And you may have your personal things that you know to do for you, diagnosis or no diagnosis. There are things, whether it's study, self improvement, dance, expression, yet we allow very easily to sleep or AKA distraction. As I observe, I think a lot of it is most of it is linked to trauma, replaying loops and stories inside the mind. And it is so hypnotic. It is so prevalent in our subconscious. I dare say it crowds out a lot of our conscious waking hours, our preoccupation with self soothing and medication. And it's interesting that the products and the food stuffs that are marketed to us are marketed to more self soothing. Yet I've always been slightly, um, my intuition although told me something is off. There's a huge imbalance with that propensity to self-medicate and to go out, to not be present. Yeah, it can be observed. This is how a good portion of human beings, how we are spending our lives. I don't think it's that distant in one sense from animals, right? Who was, it's interesting as I pass farms and I watch animals. I watch my bunnies, my worms, because I have vermiculture compost. But in particular, when I watch the cows and I watch the chickens run around, ducks, all the time. In particular, the cows, like sometimes they're like, greetings, they're like, moo, moo. They're just moving very gentle animals, yet they're moving very lethargically, right? And uh, as many of the goats and the sheep that I see, they move very slowly until their final stage, which usually you can see around the Easter holidays or certain holidays. The final life cycle is usually slaughter. Not to sound funny, but just in a practical sense, as you observe it, that's the end part of their life cycle. Humans are a little different, yet the lethargy, right? We go through, just pleasure, nothing wrong with pleasure, but the consumption, the pattern, something in it feels off. It doesn't appear that we're fully self-expressed. It appears that we have so much unprocessed and unresolved trauma, which shows up in our parenting. It shows up in the behaviors that are being expressed, the short-temperedness, the inability to deal with frustration without self-medicating. So all this to say, without taking too much time today, do you ever do an accounting of your time, right? Of your time. I don't know about you. Have you ever avoided looking at a bill in the mail, right? Do you ever stop to check in with your emotions or the sensations in your body when you are avoiding exercise? Some things may be more anxiety and worry ridden than others. Opening a bill or picking up the phone, if you think it's a bill collector or an uncomfortable conversation, or advocating for yourself, going up and advocating for yourself when it comes to a bully, allowing yourself to be manipulated, going along with friends or groups of people. It's not really something you want to do, but because you want to have friendships, you go along with the group. That could be religion, that could be recreational activities, that could be drugs. Time, we can't get it back. You can't get it back. And if we consider dis-ease is cumulative, right? And all the things that are being peddled to us are quick fixes, yet it is apparent, it is said blatantly that a lot of these medications to give you quick relief cause 15, 20 other potential problems, right? And contraindications. Natural healing is a slower process, doesn't have all of the side effects. Health and vitality and the tone we want to see, and for a reason to be able to run, jump, play, and defend ourselves. That's something that's cumulative over time. It can be observed that as a species, we are losing the ability, literally losing the ability to focus, not only on reading. This goes with our temper, again, our ability to be able to sit through uncomfortable emotions without a chip, a fry, some weed, some alcohol, right? And so what is the point where it goes from pleasure and social interaction to medicating to alcoholism or substance abuse? Does anyone ever wonder what's the fine line? At what point, in this era, and I do think there's so much relevance to body positivity, and appreciating the body tempo and where you are right now. At the same time, we're being lulled into and enticed into complacency with our health and our vitality. And there are some things that we do that actually permanently damage the body and compromise a lot of our life force, vitality. You could easily look up and bow, 20 years has gone, 50 pounds of unhealthful adipose tissues on your body. You may not have ever noticed when quote unquote depression or a down mood has gone on so long, it's become normalized. Time, we cannot get it back, right? You can't get it back. So Do you do an accounting of your time? Do you feel it's not wrong if you don't? Do you feel a sense of urgency around getting into action around the things that you say are important? This is not just for study or academia or for money. This also comes with, for example, fun. You know, what are you waiting for to put your roller skates on? Are you waiting for a friend or group to go somewhere with to travel? Are you waiting for perfect circumstances? Do you ever do an accounting to see where the time wasters or where the things, superficial pleasure, but it's just not a good investment. It's not an excellent investment. You can't really say that you're getting a lot back. It's like you're not even getting 5% interest back on your time, right? Is it enriching you? Is it motivating? Is it making you feel better? Is it strengthening your ability to focus? Is it contributing to your vitality? Is it contributing to your joy? A lot of the things that are being marketed and pumped as pleasure, if you step back objectively, long term, in terms of putting our reproductive organs in harm's way, engaging in behaviors that could really affect the whole trajectory of our lives and potential offspring, if we really had to look with some degree of maturity and level headedness without being triggered, can we really say that the consequences or the effects are really pleasurable? Right? We're not being enticed to discern, and we're also enticed to just want to feel better very quickly, right? Temporarily, but not for the long term. It really takes something. So I invite you to consider, are you giving your time away cheaply? Your time, your energy, your care, without any type of reciprocation, right? Are you giving it away to folks that don't value it? And it's easy for us to get angry. Oh, this person doesn't do this. And there's a lot of blame games online. Yet if we're giving our time, our reproductive organs, our sacred parts, our energy, our vitality away to those that don't appreciate it, then we are the ones that are giving it away. You cannot get the time back. You can't get your youth back. And so rather than cry with spilled milk or go out and make these grand statements and on a podium on social media, perhaps it can be more effective and more, we might have more access to change. Is if in our quiet moments, we seek some clarity, some acknowledgement, some responsibility and accountability for the non-renewable resource of our time. You look around and your motivation is gone. You didn't realize you gave it away. And it's one thing when you give it away in ignorance. And it's unfortunate, a lot of young humans are being enticed to engage in activities that they likely may not be able to recover from mentally and emotionally, right? A lot of the damage may likely stay with them and really compromise the quality of their lives. So do you do an accounting of your time? Do you feel a sense of relax yet urgency to get into action around the things you say matter to you? Some healthy fun, some movement, nature. Are you waiting for money to do that? How much does it cost? You can actually create community. How much does that cost you? How much does it cost you to take some seeds that you've eaten and put them inside of some dirt? How much does it take for you to give yourself a shower or water meditation, right? To really scrub your feet and make yourself feel refreshed. How much time does it? How much does it cost you to declutter? So the non-renewable resource of your time, your time, your time. Are you giving it away? Right? We've been enticed. This is my personal perspective. I don't have the only perspective, but I'm very clear. The pattern that we've been conditioned with to give a lot away for free and to wait for yours in the afterlife, and not to ask for or set yourself up for reciprocity. But yet, I come from a very religious family. I remember the begging and the energy of begging and pleading, begging, pleading. And that's the thing. Why are we begging and pleading? All you got to do is get into action. It keeps us in an emotional state. So I'm about to get into this garden. I have classes all day today. Just something to consider. Do you feel a sense of urgency to get into action? Time is not waiting. The body is aging. Raw foods and fitness and all, it's aging. The time we spend with revenge, and it may be a place and time for that. But the energy that we spend on getting back at people or in regret, it's time we can't get back. And I think it's so interesting. We're encouraged to medicate this when we could get into action. You can get into the garden. Those 3 leverage movement practice, leverage lifestyle practices: your garden, peaceful consumption, and a personal daily movement practice. I tell you, they are the best investment. They will serve you when your hair is white, when people are flaky. If you can cultivate these 3 levels so much, they're so deeply therapeutic, and it's something that you have access to. And if you have a small space, wherever you pay rent or mortgage or you live, so I'm inviting you to create a great rest of the day on purpose. If any of you are here in the Sunday coaching, I will see you today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know if you're interested in coaching. I go back and forth with the younger women with mentoring and coaching. I have a lot of young women that ask me, yet responsibility and accountability it's huge. This is an age where folks ask. Yet I think all of us, we have a sense of entitlement. And one thing I know, for the things that people have given me access to and graced me with experience and knowledge, because I came and I showed up consistently in the wee early hours. I look back at such precious time that these people have given me that I could never repay. So again, that time you can't get back. If you are wasting your time, whether consciously or unconsciously, in others' time, it's no bueno. No results slide here. Create a great day on purpose. Like, comment, subscribe. You can check out Body-Culinary on TikTok, Instagram, here on YouTube, and a little bit on Facebook. There's some free classes and workshops. See you soon.